Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your main man, the number one chief rocker in Knicks universe. Your main man, Uncle Freezie. I'm joined by the Queen, BK Steph. We rocking with y'all this Friday night, talking that Knicks talk the way y'all like to have that Knicks talk to y'all. We got a few topics that we want to chop up. Queen, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's always a pleasure when I get an opportunity to hop on and rock with you. The season is upon us. There is a lot to talk about, a lot of storylines coming out of training camp, and I'm super excited.
Okay. All right. So did you have a specific topic that you wanted to talk about first, or should we look at this long list of topics that
Let's
we
look at the long
compiled?
list of topics that we compiled and see which
Okay.
one do we want to rock with first. I mean, Rose being in the rotation was a little bit of a surprise for me. Thibs saying it's an open slate, and then basically, even though saying somebody is the front runner doesn't necessarily mean they have the spot. Yeah, yeah.
Can we?
You said the fifth spot. You said the Knicks could be in the fifth seed.
Right.
So we can talk about that when 70% of your rotation guys are under 25
Under
in this
25.
loaded Eastern Conference. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
So we have a lot to talk about, Queen. We have a lot to talk about. Let me first start with the Derrick Rose thing.
Yeah.
Let me pose this topic to you.
Mm-hmm.
Should Derrick Rose at his age be a rotational piece for this team?
It's a tough question. I think it depends on what the Knicks are trying to do. I think that if, as a coach and an organization, you're trying to make the playoffs, it doesn't hurt, even though he's 34 years old,
right,
for him to play 12 minutes, because that's all 14 minutes. That's all that's going to be left behind Brunson. Doesn't hurt to have him do that and stabilize that second unit. You know you're going to have somebody that's going to make good decisions down the stretch. So if all you're thinking about is we're going to get as much wins as we can this season, see if we can get into the playoffs. We got Brunson starting, backed up by a healthy Derrick Rose. That spot is solidified for the first time in I don't know how many years.
Right.
But a second way to look at it is we can do that same thing, even though the decision making may take a little dip. We can do that same thing with quickly backing up Brunson. He's able to get into the lane. He's able to hit the three. His playmaking has gotten better. His defense has gotten better. His decision making may not be on par with Derrick Rose, at least from last season, but who knows where he is now. So I think both of them are equally valid.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an age thing because he's only playing 12 minutes.
Right. And so my thing is,
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Derrick Rose will be 34. When Wednesday?
Oh, his Detroit coming up soon.
Yeah, his birthday should be the day of the Pistons game. I think he'll be like 34, right? But here's the thing with Derrick Rose: 34 is not a dinosaur in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking about Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James age, then I think you have a real age concern.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why being 34 is, man, and see, for me, 34 for me is like 20 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my point is with Derrick Rose, he's not a dinosaur. He can still play. He came to camp in the best shape of his life. He walk around without a shirt on. Mm-hmm. He looks lean, 195. You know what I'm saying? Going to press conferences without a shirt, proving to everybody that he lost 20 pounds. Mm-hmm. Right? And I get it. My knock on this thing, like whether you go one way or the other, mm-hmm. is not that he can't be productive. Mm-hmm. Right? My thing is how long are we going to develop veterans? We're the only ones. We're the only team in the NBA, I think that say we're developing a veteran core, right? You know what I'm saying? We you got Fournier projected to be a starter, Derrick Rose playing minutes, and these guys happen to be at a position where our young guys are looking to get minutes at, right? I like Derrick Rose and I like what he brings to the table. What does making the play-in do for this franchise? What does making the AFC do for this franchise?
But this is the thing. This is the thing. Our fan base, or at least the part of the fan base that I've been exposed to, the question is always development. It's not winning. It's always development for the future. It's not about how do you put a team together to win. 70%, that means out of the 10 players that's projected to be in this starting in the rotation, 7 of them are under 25. So they're playing, they're getting significant minutes. Well, we want it to be 100%. I mean, 70% is a lot of your rotation that's under 25 and have a significant role on the team. At some point, you have to start winning. And I don't see it as development or winning. You can do both. You think Emmanuel Quickley is not developing as we're trying to win? He is. You think RJ Barrett is not developing as we're trying to win? He is. And as a matter of fact, that's real. That's like on the job training. You trying to win, you getting better at it, as opposed to a false environment where we're not trying to win. You just force feeding minutes. Whether we win, or not. We're not going to put the best players out there to try to win the game. We're just going to put the people out there just to get them minutes. How are you developing? Maybe, do you think getting 35 minutes a game, you're going to develop faster than getting 26? I'm not so sure about that. Are you developing in a losing culture? That's because development is not just skill. You got to develop your mentality. You got to develop to staying poised down the stretch. You got to develop in and not losing it. How are you going to get that type of development if you're not trying to, win games? So I just think that you can do both, win and develop. I think our young guys are in the rotation, getting significant minutes. And those that may not get significant minutes, Obi, because he's behind Randall, Cam might be out of the rotation. I think it's for legitimate reasons.
My deal though, boss, is minutes don't mean anything, right? My deal is roles. Like, what role are you? Because and I know this is gonna sound petty. You could be a role player or a minutes, what's the word? Situational player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have a role. Like when something happens say a team goes on an 8-0 run and they push their lead from 6 to 14, right? There is a role for a guy that comes in that's a defensive stopper.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you say, Grimes, your job is to play or defend the other team's hottest wing player / backcourt player.
Mm-hmm.
That's his role. Now, some nights that role, he's going to play 12 minutes.
Right.
Some nights he's going to play 30-something minutes. Like against the Cavs, he'll play 30-something minutes because you don't want Fournier or Rose trying to defend, Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just don't want to have Fournier.
Right.
I don't want to see a Fournier Donovan Mitchell ISO. You feel me? And the same thing with Cam and these guys on the bench. If you give them roles instead of minutes, like, hey man, we're going to give you a clear and defined role. This is your job. Then I think you develop the kids because one, they understand what's asked of them and they can get better at it on a nightly basis. Okay. Whereas people just running around, they get minutes, they get cardio in. Like Obi, Like
Right.
we saw Obi get minutes. He didn't even know what his role on the team was.
Right.
I think that was Thibs. Thibs messed Obi up. Obi looking over his shoulder, thinking he gonna get yanked at any time because he was getting minutes, but he didn't have a role. You know what I'm saying? So Obi, your role is now you are defending the other team's fours and some threes, like big threes and stuff like that, and rebound, get on the glass. Or Obi, you're the energy guy, get out on the break and run to get us fast break buckets. That's your role.
Right. It's hard for me to believe Obi didn't know his role, though. But
He looked like it, though. He looked like.
I mean, how much is that on the coaching staff? How much is that is on him? It's hard for me to believe that anybody on this team is not clear when they get in the game what their role is and what they're supposed to do once they get in there. That's just hard for me to believe.
You mean on a nightly basis or in terms of what they're told at the beginning of the season?
On a nightly basis.
Right. Yeah. Game plan. Yeah. I'm saying game plan. People know what to do. Right. Game plan. Of course. You before the game, this is the game plan. So, but I'm talking about. Okay. So I guess. All right. So Dennis Rodman, you are a rebounding machine and defender.
Right.
Dennis Rodman can go into the offseason, get his body built up to be a rebounder defender. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's stuff like that. Now maybe I'm wrong, but I just think people have to understand the role that they're given before they even come in, and then they can, go accordingly from that. And maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're going to be our spark plug off the bench. You're one of our main scorers. We need you to show up every night, or you're going to be, a lockdown defender. But, keep in mind, you have more than one role too. Like you're the lockdown defender, but on offense, you better make sure that you're not a liability as well. I mean, right. So yeah, I get it. But can I just go back to one thing you said earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
That what's the sense of getting the 8th seed, or what is that going to get us? Listen, every team is not going to be a championship contender coming into the season,
right?
And just because your roster is not on paper anyway is an 8th seed roster or a 9th seed roster or a 7th seed roster doesn't mean you don't play the game. Doesn't mean that you just be like, well, we're not going to be a championship contender this season, so we should tear it down. We're not going to be a championship contender, so we should just, not even play to even reach, say our roster is an 8th seed roster on paper. Let's forget that. We shouldn't even do that. Let's just play the young guys. Let's just experiment. No, you got to play it out and see where you are. So the changes that you need to make in the off season for the next season as you make that climb to be a championship contender, because it's a climb. A lot of people will say, we're not going anywhere anyway with this team. We only got 3 vets on this team, though. Average age of the Knicks is 25. But anyway, we're not going anywhere with this team. Trade off the vets. Let these young, put Obi in for Randall, put Grimes in for Fournier, whatever it is. Let's start over. But 5 years from now, you could be in the exact same position. Right. RJ is Randall now. He's not a number 1. He's a number 2 or number 3. We got to get a number 1 in here because we don't have it on the bench. These 5, 6, 7-year-old guys are not it. Let's break it down for the 1, 2, and 3-year-old guys that we just brought in. And it just keeps going like that over and over and over again. At some point, you got to put your flag in the sand and say, we're building right here. Right. And we're going to make the changes that we need to make piece by piece, step by step each season.
Right.
I think that's where the Knicks are.
So I explained that poorly. When I was talking about that point, I explained it poorly. My thing was the point I was getting at is what benefits the franchise more? The pups aspiring, working hard, pulling together as a unit and making the 8th seed, or you playing the veterans and getting the 8th seed? That was my mindset. Like, what gets more out of this group? I mean, or what benefits the franchise more? The young kids playing high leverage games, and they are in a playoff chase down the stretch, and they play together as a team, and they make the 8th seed, or is it a team that it starts out veteran team kinda that starts out at the 8th seed and just stays there all year? Either way, you made the 8th seed, right? But
Right.
it looks different, and
Right.
it feels different.
And if
That was
it's,
that was the point that I'm
yeah,
getting
I
at.
hear that. But we don't have, that's not us. Because the average age of this team is 25. We are a young team. The average age of our rotation players is 25.
Okay,
That's a young team. When you look
right,
around the league, you look at even the Pelicans, who have a very young team. They brought in McCollum.
right.
Nobody is complaining about how McCollum is taking away minutes from Herb Jones, maybe. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? No, McCollum came in, galvanized them. They went to the playoffs. They smelt what it was like to go to the playoffs. And I think that move and them making the playoffs helped them re-sign Zion,
right.
who may have been a little, you know, unsure of the direction of the franchise. So there's nothing wrong with having a few. We got 3. One is 27, one is 30, and Rose is 34. Everybody else is 25 and over. I think the young players versus the vets, I think is a mute point at this point. I think it was overplayed last season,
It's overstated
and it's definitely overstated this season. You
this year.
brought in Brunson, you brought in Hartenstein, you shipped out Noel and Burke, Kemba. I mean, come on. I think we can lay that to rest. This is a young team with a few veterans on the team.
I think so. So it's the optics of it. In a young, flashy, splashy NBA, we have a Euro shooter, and
Now, I
it's
think Grimes is going to beat him out by the end of the season. But for now, yeah.
for now, I think Cam's gonna beat all of them out. Right? I think Cam is gonna just destroy this whole thing with Grimes. When I looked at advanced in chat, I know what the chat gonna say. Uncle Freezie always be talking about advanced stats. Cam Reddish is just as good as a defender as Grimes, right? And I know people are like, well, but I saw Grimes do such and such to Chris Paul. I know, I understand. But what I'm getting at is in a league where, say for instance, Memphis has a Ja.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland has a Spider.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Atlanta has a Trey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The Knicks have a Fournier.
That ain't 48. I mean, whoa. Freezie. You mentioned all of the young guys on their team that's leading their team. And then you're going to point to Fournier? No, who's the young guy on our team leading it? We don't have one.
In the backcourt, that's my point. That's the point I'm getting at.
But you're saying we have somebody comparable, but we just not playing them?
No, I'm saying we don't have one, period. And I'm saying we don't have one, period. We were looking for one. Think about it. We were trying to trade up for Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
We were trying to trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. The optics of this thing, and then the thing that really gets a lot of Knicks fans is Evan Fournier is a 11-year veteran who has done nothing in his diddly in his career in terms of elevating a franchise to the next level. And this franchise wants to elevate to the next level. So what we do is go out and get a guy that has never helped his organization elevate to the next level. And in the
NBA, and
NBA,
yes,
yeah, right. And so a lot of us are in this situation. Like, for instance, I'm not a big fan of RJ at the 2, but I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In my mind, Cam is a more fluid athlete than RJ. I don't know. And Cam, in my mind, has better handles. Cam is a ball dominant guy. He can be but I can't also see Cam at the 2 for Thibodeau either, right? Because Thibs like defense on the point of attack, right?
Right.
That's why I'm struggling with why Evan Fournier is considered.
But I don't understand. I don't know why you're struggling. He is one of the best shooters in the league. At least last season he was. At least he shot 40% for 3. He came in, his role changed on this particular team because he was trying to find his role on high volume. 8 3-pointers, 40%. He's the best shooter we have. And when you have, like Thibs alluded to, Brunson, RJ, and Mitch and Randall, you need somebody that can stretch the floor. Listen, Grimes is gonna play. I think, Fournier being the front runner doesn't mean he's gonna close games. He didn't close games last season. A lot of the fourth quarter last season, he sat on the bench. So Grimes is gonna get over 20 minutes. I believe Grimes is gonna close games, and I believe after the All-Star break, Grimes would have beat out Fournier. I don't think, and Freezie, you was the one who brought me down to size when we was talking about Grimes and his limited sample size.
Right.
So he has a limited sample size and Fournier doesn't. But at the same time, his defense is much better. And I think by the All-Star break, he will have that position.
Okay, so Grimes is polarizing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he is going to be Courtney Lee or Frank Ntilikina. I think he's somewhere
in ceiling than that. Than
No.
Courtney Lee?
No.
Wow.
No.
He already better than Frank.
Really? Tell me which guy is this? The defensive stalwart that averaged 6 points per game in a rookie year. Which guy am I talking about?
Both of them did. Both of them did, but
right.
Grimes don't have confidence issues, and Grimes can shoot the rock in a way that Frank never showed us that he could shoot it.
Right. Well, my thing with Fournier not starting is Grimes has to start. So if I subtract Fournier, I'm not saying that Grimes is the must fit in that situation.
It could be IQ. I've said that as well, but maybe because of IQ size, but it's just an inch. Yeah, and he has long wingspan,
Right. And then the days of a 6'6" Queen, last year we started a 6'7" backcourt, and how many wins did we get?
37.
Fournier 6'7", Burke 6'7". And we won 37 games. So when people talk to me about this size in the backcourt thing, what it is somebody in Knicks universe will say a buzz phrase, and it sounds catchy, and people just run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, the backcourt's too short. Really? That didn't stop Cleveland from trading for Spider.
Yeah.
And now they have an all-star backcourt of 2 dudes 6'1". How many all-stars do the Knicks have in their backcourt?
Yeah.
Is it in my mind, like these little things matter a lot? In terms of my deal with Fournier is, I'm not saying that Fournier is a useless player. I like Fournier. I like his mental toughness. I like the fact that he speaks his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that he don't pull punches.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that he stays healthy and he shows up every day for work.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Right? But at the same time, Evan Fournier might be the 23rd or 24th best starting shooting guard in the league right now.
But right? he's the best one for us, though.
See, and therein lies the problem.
But this is what happens, though, when you have young players on the, like, who else do you have? We don't have a Donovan Mitchell. We don't have a Devin Booker. We don't, so if it's not him,
a Zach LaVine.
If it's not him, it's going to be IQ or Grimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And so that's why that's a lot of our frustration. It's not just Fournier. And I say that's where, and the reason why I say our and we and us is because I live stream so much that this is mostly what people are saying.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Mostly people are saying, I don't want to start Fournier. I mean, man, look, if Fournier starts and we make the second round of the playoffs, I'll be excited because I'm more concerned with making the second round of the playoffs. You know what I mean? But in terms of, I can understand where people are coming from, though. Every year you block your wing players. 1 year is Bullock. And so it goes Hazonia, Bullock, Burks, Fournier. And we don't go out and go get that young, bouncy, explosive athlete that you can kind of teach on the fly these NBA skills, because I understand that high basketball IQ is paramount in NBA basketball. But if you name the 3 greatest players to ever play, they were superb athletes, right? And look, Larry Bird was not the greatest athlete. Larry Bird might have been the smartest basketball mind I've ever seen, right? He goes in there, but he's a one-off. He's not indicative of what you try to find in an NBA draft. That's our thing with the Fournier thing. Like in our division, we have Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent, and Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, and the dude what's the dude from Indiana that talked like Barack Obama? Brogdon sounds just like Obama. Right. But and then the Sixers have James Harden, right? And then we have Jalen Brunson and Evan Fournier.
But listen, even if you have Jalen Brunson and Grimes, even if you have Jalen Brunson and IQ, you're going to be at a disadvantage against those guys. Maybe not Toronto, but the other guys, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
They're just on another level. The Knicks players are not there yet. This is going to be a chemistry thing if the Knicks are going to be very successful, because they're not top heavy. You know, but Toronto did it. Toronto's not top heavy either. You know, their talent is spread around. So it's just that they have a bit more experience than we do.
Yeah. They have championship.
They do. Who was there that was, you know, Anobi was on that team.
Yes.
Siakam was on that team. VanVleet was on that team. Yeah, I think they got about 3. Yeah, they have people.
Starters. Yeah, and they had 3 starters. OG was on the team. He was hurt, so he didn't. OG was hurt out for the season, but he was there.
Right.
So, yeah, the Fournier thing. I wish there were a way where we could be more dynamic and get at least some easy shots during the game.
Well, it remains to be seen. You don't think we will?
With Fournier on the floor, absolutely not.
But why is he stopping us from getting easy shots, though?
Who can he create a shot for? You have so Fournier is not a shot creator; he's a shooter.
But Grimes is not a shot creator either.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm.
Unless you throw an IQ at that spot, who can create?
Who can create when people
for himself and for others?
Right.
That's the limitation of the roster. You know, it's like we gonna have navy beans tonight, or we gonna have pinto beans.
Yeah, either way, we eating beans, boss. And I like navy beans, by the way, and pinto beans.
Yeah,
by the way. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, because basically where we're at is the roster is fixed right now, and Fournier right now probably presents the best overall option. But Knicks fans are in this state where we get told the same thing year after year after year, and nothing gets fixed.
But you don't think we're on the right path now? I mean, everybody is calling for the young players. 70% of the rotation is young.
Right.
I think if this is what you want to see the young guys, get run and see, what they can do, you're gonna get a lot of that this season.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm okay. As my main goal, my main focus is the end result. So if the end result is 47, 48 wins, I don't care if they start 3 centers. If we overachieve, right? If we overachieve, because Vegas is saying right now we're at 39 wins. 39.
But Freezie, this roster is young.
Right.
So, I hear people calling for 51. The roster is young. You know what's gonna have to happen. So I mean, that was the other question that was on the thing. Can we expect that from a roster that's playing so many young guys in this crowded Eastern Conference?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. All right. We're gonna get a chance to see, because if we hit 50 games, then these young guys are who most of the fan base thought they were.
No. If we win 50 games, I'm coming to Brooklyn and you buying me a ham sandwich. And I'm gonna take some ketchup and draw the number 6 on it. So here's the reason. So Queen, here's why I think we're gonna get to 50. Just real quick, because I don't want to change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
I think Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, and Cam Reddish are all going to break out this year. And with their numbers, their advanced stats show all they need are minutes in order to produce. Because shout out to Luke Skywalker Visions. If he's somewhere out there, Luke Skywalker Visions, if you out there watching somewhere, if you're watching this on replay, shout out to you. He asked, what's the difference between Jaren Jackson Jr. and Obi Toppin? And I laughed. What? That's the most ridiculous. Don't you never come at me with no, is Obi as good as Jaren Jackson Jr.? Until I looked at the numbers. Right? We would say, who's a better rebounder, Jaren Jackson Jr. or Obi Toppin? It's Obi. Who shoots for a higher field goal percentage? Is Obi. And as of recently, Obi is just as good as a 3-point shooter coming down the stretch as Jaren Jackson Jr. The only 2 things Jaren Jackson Jr. has over Obi Toppin, or 3 things, I'm sorry. 2 statistical things and 1 real life thing. Jaren Jackson Jr. over his career has played 2,500 more minutes than Obi Toppin. So he's doubled Obi Toppin in minutes on the floor, even with his injuries. Even with Jaren Jackson, all those injuries, all that time he missed, he is still doubled the minutes playing time of Obi Toppin. And he is a better shot blocker overwhelmingly than Obi. But just about everything else across the board, Obi Toppin is better percentage-wise. Everything. So what I'm saying is, given the opportunity, I'm not saying I want him to be Jaren Jackson Jr. What I'm saying is, before we assume that Obi is not whatever, let's see Obi with more minutes. And the third thing that Jaren Jackson Jr., because 2 was statistical and 1 is real life. Jaren Jackson Jr. has played with an all-star point guard his entire career. Whether you go from Mike Conley to John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. has had that. And over Obi's career, Obi has had Elfrid Payton and Kemba Walker.
If you had an opportunity to trade Obi Toppin for Jaren Jackson, would you do it?
Yes.
End of conversation.
Right. But the thing is, I'm not saying that I would, what I'm saying is you don't know if you already have a Jaren Jackson Jr. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what Obi can do because Obi's minutes were limited. And even Jaren, the one drawback I say to Obi, right, is Jaren Jackson Jr. was drafted to a team that had a power forward that was pretty good. He was there for 2 years. Jaren Jackson Jr. beat out the starter at power forward. Obi did not. That's my drawback on Obi and that man purse he walk around with.
Yeah. Well,
you're not feeling Obi though.
No. Well, up to this point, I'm hoping, what I see this season is the continued evolution of his game, and that is being able to hit that 3-point shot at a more consistent clip. That allows him to be effective in the half court. That allows him to, create space for us when he's on the floor. And now, it's not just he needs to play with IQ or he needs to play in a running game. You can hit that 3-point shot. You can play in a half court game. You could play with anybody. So that's what I would like to see from Obi going this coming in this season. I also want to see his rebounding rate go up. Obviously, he's not going to get a lot of rebounds, total rebounds, given the minute he plays, but his rebounding rate is not very high. So I would like to see that. And sometimes you might have to stay in there and grab a rebound. I think he's fast enough to stay in there, grab the rebound, pitch it out, and still beat people down the court.
Still beat people, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he would be able to do that. And then I would like to see his team defense get better. Like, I don't think he's going to be able to defend in space. It's just his hips and being able to get low and move his feet. I don't know if he'll be able to defend in space, but his pick and roll defense can get better. His team defense can get better, which it did, So yeah, there's still work, there's still work, for Obi to do, as it is for every young player.
Right. My thing with Obi is over these past couple of years, I found people make a lot of excuses for Obi. A lot. Right. Like we, no matter what we say about Obi, people make, it's Thibs' fault that Obi can't box out. It's Thibs' fault that Obi doesn't attack closeouts. Like the thing that you mentioned, I think the thing you mentioned just now about Obi shooting three, I think is an excellent point. I think Obi's thing is when defenses close out, you have to put the ball on the floor and attack a closeout, making yourself a playmaker. Now, you don't have to try to jump from the 3-point line and dunk. That's impossible.
Right.
But you can dribble twice and shoot a pull-up from 15 feet. Right? Those are the easy shots. You can put the ball on the floor, go all the way to the rim, and try to finish hard. Right? You know what I'm saying? Those are the small things that until Obi shoots that three and attack closeouts, people are not going to respect the rest of his offensive arsenal. Right? And it's to a point. I don't know if you know this or not, Queen, but Obi got help from a shooting coach this summer.
Mm-hmm.
From Don McClain. You remember Don McClain from UCLA?
No.
The big, tall Christian Laettner looking dude for UCLA.
The name is familiar. I would have to look that up. Don McClain, you said? Let me.
Don McClain. And so Don McClain played at UCLA in the era of Jim Harrick, right before Toby Bailey and Ed O'Bannon and them. And I know that name might not sound familiar to a lot of people in the chat. Ed O'Bannon, Toby Bailey, Tyus Edney, all of them dudes. But what I remember Don McClain for is announcers always joking about him having the same name as a dude that wrote that song American Pie. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but that's the thing I remember Don McClain for, and choking in big games. Those two things.
I see his picture. I remember him.
Yeah, and so my thing with Obi is Knicks fans have been clamoring for him to get tough, and what he does this summer is the complete opposite. Go talk to a shooting coach out in Hollywood.
Well, listen, Obi's gonna be Obi as far as his temperament. I don't think he's gonna be. He's not gonna be. I don't know, a Dennis Rodman, a Rasheed Wallace, or that's just not him.
Yeah.
He's gonna be more of a finesse guy, which
He's a
is
second
fine.
gen guy. He's a
Right.
second gen guy like Knox.
Right. But be effective. That's it. Be effective, expand your game, so that you can bring more to the court than what you're bringing right now. And I don't agree that he's playing 17 minutes, so that's not enough time for him to show anything other than running the floor. That's you still that possession doesn't end in a lob or or a dunk every time. So you're in some half court sets as well. So it's enough time for you to show different aspects, of your game. As a rookie, he was posting up. I mean, the guards was pushing him out, but he was.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing.
So I want to see the evolution of his game this season, and not just him. There's a lot of players, probably every player. I want to see what's different. What have they added? And Obi is one of them.
I think Jalen Brunson and the guards are going to pull that out of Obi this year.
Pull what?
That aspect that you just mentioned. What are you doing with your minutes aspect of it?
Right.
What I'm saying is, Obi, I'm not giving you the ball unless you set a sturdy screen. If you don't set a sturdy screen, you can forget this basketball, Jack. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting. You think I'm gonna let you play like a two guard on offense and defense, and then throw you a Hail Mary at the other end? Are you crazy, Obi?
Nah. Mitch didn't get any shots either. Then
him too. Him too. Mitch's thing, though, the thing I noticed with Mitch, and trust me, y'all, I played basketball for a very long time. I know a lot about being a bad basketball player. Trust me. I probably wrote the book on bad basketball, right? Mitch and those slip screens it's a mess. The guard, the guard is accepting the screen and not saying nothing to him, because what happens is as a big, you set the screen 5 feet away from the guard, and you hold your hands inside your frame, and you wait there, and you set a sturdy screen. You don't move those feet, right, so the referee can blow the whistle, because the ref be looking for, itching to call a moving screen on you, right? So you stay there and set the screen. You don't go until the guard tells you to go. But then you watch Alec Burks and Mitch Robinson. Mitch comes, shove his butt out, and take off to the rim. That ain't a screen.
Right. He mentioned it in the press conference, so he's aware. He's aware.
Yeah. These guys, they suffer from a poor basketball fundamentals all over the floor. Yeah. Like Alec Burks can't run the pick and roll because by the time he gets the pick, the man is already rolled. Right? The pick man does not say anything on offense. He picks and he goes when the guard tells him to go. Not Mitch. Mitch got there, set the screen, and take off to the basket. You're like, what was that? Queen, think about that. Okay. So, chat, I don't know what level of basketball y'all stop playing at, but as a screener, you don't move until the ball handler tells you to move, right? Because what happens is the ball handler may accept your screen and not rub the man off, so he starts back over with that screen. You don't have to rescreen. He can manipulate his defender into your body and rub him off with your shoulder, and you get around that man, and now it's a one-on-one with you versus a big. And if you beat that big headed to the rim, the strong side defender is going to come from the corner. You kick it out to the corner for a three.
Right.
These are how these things work. Mitch don't dictate offense. That's why a lot of stuff didn't work, because people would come up, poor for low IQ, bad fundamental. It's oh my God. Oh,
Well,
Mitchell Robinson, you owe me some Anderson. Mitchell
but
Robinson,
listen, that's what you
he
get
owe
with
me a bottle of Nuprin.
that's what you get with young players. But you do hope that they improve over time, right? And I saw that all last season with Mitch, so we'll see. We'll see. He said that the Knicks showed him loyalty with that contract. And so so that said to me that he didn't even think he deserved it. He was like, oh, they showed me loyalty with the contract. I'm going to be better this year. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I was saying that about Obi and Mitch. The reason why I bring that up is because I think a leader will pull them to the side. Hey, man, how am I going to get a screen? And when I get there, you are already gone into traffic.
Right.
I can't get you the ball if by the time I get to you, you're already gone. They hedge, and then you are in between two people.
Right.
You want to score big man, you want to score, right? Yes, I want to score. Okay, then set your screen properly. Don't take off until I tell you to, right? Let me rub this man off of me so that you can get a free run to the rim.
Right.
But when you have Elfrid Payton, Kemba Walker, Jalen Brunson is going to bring the best out of. I'm sorry for a long-winded answer.
Oh, that's fine.
But that's how Obi and Mitch are going to eat this year.
I hope you're right. But I believe so. Especially for Mitch. His points, other than offensive rebounds, have to be generated for him. Same thing with Obi. But I'm hoping with that 3-point shot, he can generate some points himself.
Hey, Queen, my dog's fighting in the living room. I got to break this up. Hold on for a second.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Waiting for Freezie to come back. But, let's hope with both, Mitch and IQ, Mitch and Obi, obviously they're going to be better with Brunson there because Brunson's going to be able to set them up for lobs, I can't tell you how many times last season Mitch was open and was missed on a lob. I don't think Brunson is going to do that. I can't tell you how many times, Obi could have been hit over the top and he was missed. I don't think that's going to happen as much this year. That being said, Mitch said he's going to. So that being said, you still have to generate points yourself. So for Mitch, he does that with offensive rebounds. He said in a press conference that he's going to start shooting 15-footers this season. That would be great if he's able to generate more points. Same thing with Obi. He does help us by getting points in transition. Hopefully, he can add to that by shooting a three-pointer at a higher clip, start getting points from there. Then, like Freezie said, if they run him off the three-point line, is he able to dribble in, take one or two dribbles in for the jump shot? If he's able to do that, that changes everything for the Knicks, but that also changes everything for Obi and his career. Like, how long are you going to be in the NBA if most of what you do is scoring transition? You're not rebounding at a high rate. You're not playing good defense, and it's just rim running. That doesn't make for a long career. So I think for Obi, he needs to add more to his game, and I'm sure he did. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm with you, Queen, on that.
Yeah,
I think as somebody that's going to have an impact, you have to be able to be flexible offensively and defensively every night in order to get yours some nights and help others get theirs other nights. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a selfish player.
Right.
And I think we had a lot of that in terms of contracts and all that, because 2 years ago, it was Randall contract extension. Last year, it was RJ contract extension. This year, you're talking about Obi, Cam, quickly contract extensions, right? What we're going to have to do is get into a situation where dudes start playing for each other. And if they don't, you got to sit them or move them.
Right.
It's as simple as that. winning has to be the most important thing on everybody's mind.
Yeah, I think it is. Like, do you think last year, the year we went to the playoffs, Randall was playing for just his contract? Do you think last season RJ was playing just for his contract? I don't think so. I think those guys were playing to win. Were they aware that it was a contract season? I'm sure. But it's hard for me to believe that dictated the decisions that they made out on the court.
Well, RJ, when asked, what's your goal for this season? This is last season. Mm-hmm. RJ, what's your goal for this season? My goal is to be a 20-point per game scorer. You remember that?
I do.
I thought the answer was going to be help get this team to the playoffs, but it wasn't. Now, is that a misspeak by a young, talented, smart individual? I think so. Because I think he wants to win. But the first thing he said gave me the impression that money was the most important thing.
But he did say he would do it in the context of the game, that he wouldn't try to force it.
Right.
He did say that.
Except he did force it.
You know what? I do hear some fans and people in the chat has said down the stretch when he was close, he was kind of pushing to try to hit 20 points a game. I don't know if I saw that, but
Yeah. The Phoenix game is an example. People wide open all over the floor, and I think RJ shot 7 for 26 in that game. And people blame Randall for getting kicked out of that game. But then when you look at RJ Barrett shooting numbers in that game, was that really Randall's fault for getting kicked out of the game, for standing his ground? Or was it that RJ Barrett had a terrible shooting game? Y'all pardon that. I have a young pit bull puppy that thinks he's a lap dog.
But I don't understand why RJ having a bad shooting game had anything to do with Randall getting thrown out.
Yeah. Well, the Knicks had an 11-point lead when Randall exited. And we wound up losing that game on a buzzer beater by Cam Johnson.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's one of those deals where I think RJ is going to be a great young player. But I think the organization sees it too.
What do you say great? Like, yeah. What do you mean?
Great. Like, RJ Barrett may be the most accomplished wing player to play for the Knicks in like 50 years.
No, okay. But like quantitatively, what does that?
Yeah, I think RJ is going to lead this team to multiple playoff berths, multiple playoff appearances. I don't know if it's going to lead to a championship,
right?
But I think he'll be a key factor in that. And I will take that over Carmelo Anthony's career, where Melo had a lot of player moments in the Garden and as a Knick, but he didn't have a lot of great team moments in the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, but RJ is not going to have a lot of team moments either if he don't get help, because he's not going to be able to do it by himself. So, a lot of it is going to depend on how this team is structured. But, if that's how you define great with RJ Barrett, yeah, I would agree with that.
What about the rest of that 50-win thing that I talked about? Are you do you think Cam Reddish?
We're not winning 50 games. I mean, if we win 50 games, Freezie, you know how much he has to go right. And I don't think Cam is going to be a part of that equation at all.
Yeah. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this. I said it earlier. I'm going to say, this Pitbull Queen, don't ever get it. Dogs are like children, man.
Oh, I know. I had a pit. She passed away in 2019. She was 16 years old. A mixed pit.
Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
I know.
He just went to the wall and tried to pee on it. He's 7 months. He gonna get a elbow off the top rope. He keep acting like I'm proud. But my fear, Queen, is this. I try to be the eternal optimist. I don't want to go into a season assuming the worst. Right?
But 50 though?
Right. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but here's the thing. If Obi doesn't play, if Obi doesn't play, everybody getting fired. That's just my take on it. Like my deal on it is if Obi doesn't play, Knicks fans are going to point back to Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, all these first-round picks, and only one first-round pick is playing significant minutes. What's the front office doing? What do we need? What do we need them here for?
Whoa. IQ is going to play significant minutes. Grimes is going to play significant minutes. Yeah. They in the rotation. Who else is getting?
Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has to play significant minutes.
But what's significant? If Derrick Rose is playing behind Brunson, how many minutes is left? 12 to 14. That's it.
Derrick Rose is going to play upwards of 20 plus minutes.
You got to.
You got to, because Derrick Rose is coming up towards the end of his contract. Derrick Rose will be 34 when the season starts. You have to get everything that you can out of Derrick Rose before he officially, gets old. You got to get everything. You got to squeeze everything out of Derrick Rose.
How I can't see him getting 20 minutes. Like how? That means Brunson is playing 28 minutes.
I think Brunson is going to play upward. I think Brunson is somewhere in the neighborhood of 33 minutes.
Right. So you see them playing together. That's the only reason I can see Rose getting more minutes. So he's playing together. What is that saying for Quickly? What is that saying for? I don't see that.
But the thing is we can't say that Rose is not going to get minutes, and Quickly and Grimes are going to get minutes, and then at the same time
get them. But go ahead. Sorry.
And no. But at the same time, it's like you can't just sit Rose, because Rose, when healthy, is a good NBA player when he's healthy. He's a difference maker when he's healthy, right? Is IQ a difference maker when he's healthy? He can be, potentially. Is Grimes a difference maker? He potentially, yes. But Thibs, think about what Thibs said the other day. Thibs says, I like our point guard situation. I like JB and Rose. I like that combination. They're accomplished. And Miles McBride is going to be something in this league. That's what Thibs said, right? He didn't mention IQ, and he didn't mention Grimes in that mix. Now at the two, now are you talking about Fournier, RJ, Quickly, Grimes all getting minutes there? Because if RJ is solely getting all the minutes at the 3, Cam Reddish is not getting significant minutes.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Cam Reddish is the odd person out. And I see Rose playing. They got to limit Rose minutes. So whatever minutes Brunson doesn't play, Rose plays, that's it. Playing them together throws things. The minutes are limited as it is. It throws things off if you're going to play them together. And I do think Cam is the odd person out.
Yeah. And so you only get 240 minutes in an NBA game. Most games. I mean, some games are going to go to overtime, but
right.
That's one-off stuff that happens once every 15 games or so, right? So if you only got 240 minutes and you just chunking off 30 here, 30 there, 30, before you know it, you down to like 60 minutes for like 5 dudes.
Yeah. I mean, we said it. At the 2 and at the 5 is where you're going to have the potential for a minute share. 28, 20, 26, 22.
Right.
At the 1, 3, and 4 spot, it's a wrap. Brunson, RJ, and Obi, and Randall playing 34 minutes, 33, 34 minutes.
They're getting the Lions' share of minutes.
No doubt about it.
And so if this happens, the thing that I just said is going to get this front office and coach fired. Right?
Who's going to fire them? Dolan? You think Dolan's going to come and fire them because they're not playing Obi Toppin and Grimes?
No. He's going to fire them because the future is bleak and the now is bleak. That's why he'll fire them.
Why is the future bleak if you believe in this? If this is the young core that everybody is believing in, why is it bleak?
Because you're not playing your first round picks. The only first round pick that you're playing is RJ. Because think about it. If Rose is going to play, and y'all in chat, y'all know that Thibodeau is going to play Derrick Rose. You don't bring in Derrick Rose to every spot that you coach at that you possibly can, and to bring him to sit the bench. Derrick Rose and Thibs are linked, joined at the hip. They are. It's just it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
I agree with you. I just think he's going to play whatever's left over from Brunson. We shall see. I can't. Rose playing 20, 25 minutes, he's not going to last the season.
And he may not, but you got to get everything you can out of Derrick Rose before he breaks down.
12 minutes and he won't.
Right, because
there's less of a chance, I should say.
Because if you save Derrick Rose and you don't make the playoffs, what did you save him for?
But why? But if he plays, what's wrong with him playing 12 minutes a night? What's wrong with Brunson playing 34 and Rose playing 14 a night?
Derrick Rose is still a good player. Right now, he's better than Grimes. Right now, he's better than Quickly.
Okay.
Right now, he's better than Cam.
Okay.
I mean, if you ask me who's the better player right now, Derrick Rose or Emmanuel Quickly, I gotta say Emmanuel Quickly, even though I gotta say Derrick Rose, even though I love Emmanuel Quickly. If you ask me to be honest, like, keep it real, Uncle Freezie, who better? Derrick Rose or Emmanuel Quickly? It's Derrick Rose when he's healthy, even though I love Quickly. Who's better right now, Derrick Rose or Quentin Grimes?
I think it's closer. I think it's closer with IQ, but for Grimes, yeah, I think Derrick Rose.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, you just gotta get everything out of the tank with Rose before you move on.
Is I think 14 minutes a game is everything out the tank, given his injury history.
Right.
You know,
shout out to the 106 people watching. Yeah. And if y'all could please do us a favor and subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, share it on your social medias, continue to support Dope Knicks Talk the way you like that Dope Knicks Talk to be talked to you.
That's right.
Continue that movement, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all. Friday night rocking. We rocking on a Friday night. Queen, I don't know, man. I don't know if Derrick Rose's tank is on E right now. I don't know if the gaslight is on.
No, I don't either. But I'm saying you ain't gotta push it at 80 miles an hour. Well, you know, we ain't got no time limit on how we trying to get down south. You know, you going down saying, "Oh, I did that in 12 hours. Oh, I did it in 10. Oh, I did it in 14." Hey, take your time. 14 minutes a game. That's good.
So the fact that you called out my cousin Junebug like that means Junebug need to stop speeding. Junebug, if you out there and you watching this, everybody know you speeding. Junebug out there trying to make it in 9 hours in a Coupe de Ville. Boy, if you don't stop. Oh, I said a Coupe de Ville. People don't even know what a Coupe de Ville. Hey, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm old school to my heart. He in a Coupe de Ville pumping the OJs on 95 doing 110. Boy, if you don't stop. But anyway. Yeah, I understand what you mean. So you are siding on the side of caution. Like, just, give him 14, 15 minutes. And then when he makes the playoffs, you can give him all the minutes, whatever. Empty the tank.
Nah, I'm just saying that's his role at this point in his career. 12 to 14 minutes a game. That's it. I mean, yeah. Let me tell you what I would do. In a perfect world, Rose is situational. And a perfect world, Rose is situational. Because I think for the minutes that's left behind Brunson is like 12 minutes.
Oh my
God. Quickly is the backup 2, right? Or let's say, where's Quickly playing? So I guess you got. I'm saying Cam is out of the rotation. So I have the Knicks going with a 3-guard rotation in that second unit. Rose at the 1, IQ at the 2, Grimes at the 3, though he will be undersized, right? What you can do, if you take Rose out, now Quickly can get minutes, can back up both Brunson and Fournier. So now you got, what is that? 48 and 40, 96 minutes.
Okay.
And you just trying to split that from 3 players, because Quick is backing up both instead of 4. You know what I mean? So I think if you go with Rose, if you go with one person behind each person, how many minutes is Quickly going to get? How many minutes is, with Fournier, you'll probably split a little bit. I don't see Fournier playing more than 30 minutes a game, maybe like 28 to 30 minutes a game. But he'll get more time basically if he's backing up both Brunson and Fournier.
What you say makes a lot of sense. But here's the thing, Queen. What you say makes so much sense. I don't know if I could rock with it because I'm in that emotional state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know how like the doctor come and tell you bad news? I'm in that state, like in a basketball sense. Like what you say makes total sense. But I don't want to believe that's the way to go though. You know what I mean? I believe I want to.
We're strong either way. With Rose backing up Brunson or Quickly backing up both of them. Quick, in my opinion, is going to have, out of all of the players on the team, he's going to break out this season.
Yeah. I think when you look at his numbers from last year, if Quickly was just hitting shots, if he didn't have just a shooting slump, you're talking about 17 points a game from Quickly, right? He was in a shooting slump, right? So his numbers were way, way down, right? On the number of shots that he took, Quickly should have been a 17-point per game scorer. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't a. And I know people say this. People use this term, and they should stop. People say that Quickly is a ball hog. People say that Quickly is a shoot first. How would you shoot first on 9 shots a game? That's 9 shots. RJ Barrett shot 17 shots a game to get 20. Is RJ Barrett a ball hog? Yes. Quickly took 9 shots a game and had an assist percentage of 25%. Right. That's high level starter. That means out of 100 possessions, Emmanuel Quickly gets 25 assists. And people call Quickly a ball hog. And for those that question it, I found this number on basketballreference.com and the advanced section. For people that question like where the data comes from. RJ Barrett, on the other hand, is 14% for a dude taking 17 shots.
Right.
So this dude is 17 shots a game. His assist percentage is 14%. That tells me RJ Barrett was worried about getting the bag. RJ Barrett was more wrapped around getting this extension than he was about winning. Because when you first of all, when you shoot 40 below 45% at the rim, that means you shouldn't be going to the rim shooting at all. Right? At all. 44% at the rim, and you're 6'6", 6'7". RJ Barrett said during the content day that he was 6'7". Okay, 6'7" guy. 6'7" guy. You were shooting below 45% at the rim. And when they foul you, you shoot 73%. Which, by the way, is higher than Evan Fournier, who shot 70%. And Grimes, who shot 68%.
Right. Right. I mean, listen, part of, he made a good point that he was working on his decision making. Right. And that'll help him finish at the rim because you won't be taking as much, because you'll be able to realize that you shouldn't be going to the rim right now. You should be pulling up for a mid-range, or you should be spraying it out to someone else who's open on the wing. So his decision-making gets better when he drives to the basket. That'll help him finish.
Yes.
But I agree with you. That's RJ's game. RJ is not a shooter. I don't know if he will ever be a shooter. I think he'll be respectable from the three-point line like he is right now.
Right.
But his bread and butter is bully ball, punishing you, getting to the rim.
Always has been.
And always has been. But to your point, then, you can't take the majority of your shots below the three-point line and not be good at it. you
Right.
know?
Right.
So he has to, that's his bread and butter. That's how I see RJ for his career. Bully ball. He'll get better at finishing at the rim. And you're right, he has to hit his free throw percentage.
Right.
I mean, that was Butler's path forward. Though I do think RJ Barrett, though, is going to be better. Not a great three-point shooter, but he's going to be better at the three-point line than Butler. So I think if we're waiting for RJ to be a knockdown shooter, I don't ever think that's going to be his game. But that doesn't mean he can't be a star or a very good player in this league.
Right.
It's just you got to find out what your niche is, and you got to be good at it.
Right. And so I just want to throw this out there. For those of us that used to watch Marquette basketball back in the day, RJ Barrett is so far ahead of Jimmy Butler in terms of development. Mm-hmm. Right now, where RJ Barrett is this very moment, Jimmy Butler was a senior at Marquette. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Think about what we're saying. Jimmy Butler was a senior at Marquette, where RJ Barrett is a 20-point per game NBA scorer in the same archetype. Is RJ Barrett going to be something special as a Knick? I believe so. Right, but special unto the Knicks, but not special unto the NBA. Like Allen Houston is special to the Knicks, right? But in a grand scheme of the NBA landscape, Allen Houston wasn't special across the NBA. Right. He was special to the Knicks. We remember H2O. Right. Right. I think people will remember RJ Barrett in that sense. Right. Like, yeah, RJ Barrett had his moments. Like Allen Houston had his moments. Now, am I calling RJ Barrett a sweet shooting two that can create his own shot like Allen Houston? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you hear comments like this, just keep them in perspective. Right. RJ Barrett's never going to be Allen Houston. They are different archetypes. Right. Right. But in terms of impacts on winning, I think RJ Barrett can do that. Plus, RJ Barrett, for the most part, stays healthy. Right. Allen Houston, for the most part, did not.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. What's your thought on and somebody brought this up in the chat. Somebody said that, well, from his comment, I assume somebody else in the chat said the offense is going to go through RJ Barrett. That's what I assume he was responding to. And the person in the chat said that's going to be difficult when you have somebody that can't create his own shot and then can't hit free throws at a high rate. Do you think the Knicks offense, well, first of all, what does it mean when you say the offense is going to go through? Because to me, people are going to get their touches, So one, what does that mean to you when people say, the offense is going to go through a certain player? And number two, do you think it can go through RJ?
So the whole offense going through a guy thing is video game stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I remember before a game would start, Coach Marcellus would have at least 7 set plays for us to run, at least 7. We would have half-court set plays to run. We would have at least 3 baseline out-of-bound plays and 2 sideline out-of-bound plays where everybody is working on offense for each other.
Right.
So the whole run the offense through whatever,
right.
It's video game talk where you could just pass to one guy and just spam his shot to death. Right? But those that play organized ball understand that when coach look at the scoreboard, we up by 5, you know what I'm saying, with under 6 minutes to go, he gonna run caddy. And basically what that is screening so that we can get open looks on the baseline for like a 10-foot jumper. And if you take a 3 when you up 6 with 6 minutes to go, coach gonna pull you out the game and he might not let you get back in the game. Because if you miss, it creates a long rebound and the other team can go down and hit a 3, and now you're in a 1-possession game.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about when people talk about the offense going through, y'all listen. I'm not saying that people that haven't played organized ball shouldn't say. What I'm saying is this: you have to understand time and score situations. Right. Say for instance, if you up 10 and the other team just went on an 8-0 run, that means at one point you looking at the fact that we up 10, but you're not looking at the fact that we were once up 18. Right? We were once 18 and now we're only up 10. Now is not the time for you to run ISO, so run the offense through. Run a system set. Run a set. Cycle the ball. Try to get an open look. Play for each other. Get a good shot. It doesn't matter who shoots the ball as long as they get a good shot for them. Right? Mitchell Robinson wide open for 3. A man not within 10 feet is not a good shot. Even though he's wide open.
Right.
He's wide open for a reason. They left him open. They want him. They baiting him to take that shot so they can grab that long rebound and push it the other way. Because if your big shoots a 3, that means when you get the long rebound, there is no rim protection at the other end.
Right.
Because the big has to run by everybody and go protect the rim. And the big is not going to do that. So when we say when we say run the offense through, we don't want to do that, man. We want to run our sets, run a good play.
Right.
Whatever play was running good in practice that day or the day before, the coach is going to be partial to that. The coach going to tell you, Queen, y'all look really good running Honda. We might run Honda tonight. We look good running Honda. The weeks leading up to this game, we're going to run some Honda. And Honda might be that play where Queen gets that 10-foot baseline jumper, where a guard comes and pin down her man or woman in this case, pin down that player, and Queen pop out for a wide open 10-foot jumper on the baseline, right? So when we say run offense through, we got to get out of this mindset where it's like the video game, or we watch ESPN and look at the box score. Oh, Devin Booker was 13 for 22. They was running the offense through. You don't know what offense they ran. Right, Queen? Am I right? Queen,
Yeah.
am I right?
Not from the box score, you're not going to be able to tell that.
Right. You're not gonna be able to know. And so people will tell me, well, Uncle Freezie, you talk all this basketball stuff. Man, all they do is run ISO and run horns. Nah, you run ISO when you get to a certain time in the shot clock,
Right.
where you don't cycle through your plays, you don't cycle through your options, and at 8 seconds, you gotta look for somebody to break off the play and go ISO and get a decent look.
Right.
Because sometimes what people don't know, and listen, y'all, I know this is a shocker, but sometimes the defense does their job.
Yeah.
So like the whole thing of running the offense through a certain thing, I'm not really on board for, man, run the offense through RJ. Nah, what we should do every night is run in a specific offense, run it until you get to your second or third option, and if you have like 10 seconds left, look for some deep shooters. But once you get to about 8 seconds, hey, whoever your best player is, you know what I'm saying, get them the ball and try to take advantage of a bad matchup and see if they can get a good shot up.
And that was the part I was going to add. Like, there are times when you may, you call a timeout, you may call a particular play to get, a particular player a shot, or coming down the stretch, if you run through all your options, the shot clock is running down. Yeah, you're going to try to, dump it into your best play and say, get us a basket. I'm not sure we have those type of players on this team, though. Maybe Brunson, can be that down the stretch, because in order to do that, you got to be able to operate off the dribble.
Yes.
You got to be able to operate off the dribble. And that's the thing. When you look at these championship contending players, teams, they got a player at the end of the game they could just dump the ball to and be like,
Right.
bail us out. We need a basket right now to extend the lead, to hold the lead, to get back in the game.
Right.
And it's yet to be seen who that will be for us.
Right. And it's game situational. Like, you got to know your personnel.
Right.
Like Julius Randle and Julius Randle thrives in a situation in a tie game and games that we're behind. I'm sorry, games that we're ahead. But Julius Randle, when you need points, when you need buckets to catch us up, Randle historically has not been that guy.
Right.
You down by 7 in the fourth quarter. Randle is not that guy to get the ball to. Right. Understanding that, you don't give the ball to him in those situations, and he's not going to look for it.
Right. Well, he might still look for it, though.
But he didn't
not give it to him.
Right. But here's the thing: if you don't have a player that can generate that shot, you have to have a system.
Right.
You have to have a system that's going to generate a good look for a player that knocks down shots that they're comfortable with.
Right.
That's why a lot of times when we have the conversations about, well, you got to, because Queen, the conversation was, and I'm sorry, y'all, because drinks make me a little chatty. I'm sorry, Queen, but anyway,
that's okay.
So, but
this is just seltzer water and my stevia drops. But go ahead.
Health is wealth, right? But understanding this, it's why teams like the Atlanta Hawks, why the Atlanta Hawks didn't necessarily win, because Trae Young is excellent with the lead, but when you're down, Trae Young might not be the best player for you, right? It's the reason why Kevin Durant is that guy. When you're down, you can trust him. Steph Curry is that guy in a close game or his team is losing. He's not scared to take those shots. He looks for that moment to step up, right? Like they have a balance. Clay is the front running guy. Like, if you have a lead, Clay get hot, Clay gonna push a lead from 7 to 23, right? And if you're down, if your team is down by 8, Steph is the guy, because he's gonna take that lead and knock down those daggers that just suck the will out of the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks, we don't necessarily have that guy because RJ Barrett can't finish at the rim. His 3-pointer is, I'm going to say, coming along. And his free throw percentage is coming along.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
I think it might wind up being Brunson.
I think so.
It may wind up being Brunson. It has to be somebody that can create off the dribble.
Off the dribble. It's somebody to threaten. And so we say, and for everybody, we say off the dribble because it's got to be a player that can threaten multiple defenders at once.
Right.
Right? Because if you can threaten multiple defenders, that means you're pulling a man away from another offensive player. Oh shoot, Queen, I gotta call. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. Right. I'll finish that up. So yeah, somebody that can shoot off the dribble. So I think Brunson can do that. IQ can do that. Somebody in the chat mentioned that. Shoot off the dribble. Brunson, IQ. Who else? It has to be somebody that you need a basket. You're going to put the ball in their hand, or maybe it's late in the shot clock. You're going to put the ball in the hand and they're going to be able to generate a shot for themselves or for somebody else. That means that they have to be able to get into the key and either pull up and hit the shot or pass it to open shooters. IQ can do that. I think that's something that we're going to see more of this year from IQ. I think IQ is going to have a big season. Brunson can do that. I don't know. Tell me in the chat if we got some. Oh, and Rose. Yeah, a shout out to Julian Blum. Rose is definitely somebody, that can get in the key, pull up for the jumper, or pass it to somebody for the open shot. That's what you can do. Now, that's one of the things I'm hoping with RJ this season, he's improved on his ability to create off the dribble for himself and for others. That's the next evolution of his game, as well. I don't see Julius being that type of guy, though I think he can in the post. If you give him the ball down in the post, he can create for himself. He can create for someone else. But just throwing the ball to somebody on the wing and say, get me a bucket. We need one right now. It's 10 seconds left. It has to be somebody that can get into the teeth of the defense.
Right. And secure. The thing about that thing that you just mentioned, Queen, is you want to at least at a bare minimum get a point per possession. Right? You can't have a wasted possession. So that player that you just mentioned, even if he's fouled and goes to the free throw line, you got to at least get 1 point out of that possession. Right? Because if he doesn't, the defense won. Right? Even though stopping the clock helps you because, of course, because the clock's not running, it gives you more time to catch up.
Right.
But you got to have point per possession in that case. We got to be able to think the game. Right? It's not as easy as running up and down the floor as fast as you can. That's not basketball. That's track.
No.
Right? You know what I'm saying? You want to have a, say for instance, Queen, if that player is Cam Reddish, right? Say if it's Cam, I'm just throwing a name out there. Say if it's Cam goes to the rim. We have to consider, can Cam finish at the rim, and is he a good free throw shooter?
Oh man, Freezie. Now, you just brought up something now, because that's where RJ takes most of his shots, and at least last season, his free throw shooting hasn't been great.
No.
So what's the path forward?
I'm not for sure. I think that's why we're stuck. Queen. I think that's why we're stuck. Because here's the thing. And why I'm frustrated with the Evan Fournier thing, and I don't want to turn back to a conversation we just had, because what you said is excellent. It was eloquently said and thoughtful, right? So I don't want to double back to the conversation we just had, because I think you swayed me in your direction about Fournier, right? Whatever, things happen. People, smart people with new information should be able to acquiesce towards the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What is the truth?
That's what happened with me and Grimes. I had to come off that train. I had to get off at the next stop.
Right. And so what I'm getting at is do we have a guy to do that? I don't know if we have a guy to do that. And if we don't, 42 wins is going to be tough.
I was about to say, then how we winning 50?
I know. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at.
How we winning 50? I mean, what has me a little hopeful is that when you look at Toronto, they're not top heavy. Right. Like Boston and Philly and
Boston
and Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
You know, they're not top heavy. It's more of a balanced team where you're getting something for everyone. And they were able, chemistry wise, to bring it together. Now, a lot of them have been there, like you said, through the championship years. So, you know, it was just a matter of Kawhi coming out of that lineup and them having to kind of find themselves again. And they were able to do that last season. That's the path forward for the Knicks. We're not top heavy. We don't have a superstar. This is going to be each player playing their best. The what did they say? The sum is better than the how does it go?
The individual parts.
Yeah. The sum is greater than the
individual part. Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. Our chemistry, our execution on defense, our execution on offense. That's what's going to get us to, as you say, 50 wins. Because we just don't have, that guy. And the other thing also is that means we're going to be operating on the slimmest of margins.
Right.
Like the net differential between our offense and defense will probably be less than 2 points.
Right. I understand
where you're coming from. I don't see us blowing out, blowing out people. I see us playing good defense, executing offensively and defensively, and pulling out close games. Right. Kind of similar to the formula 2 years ago.
The Big 15 season. Right. But the Queen, the thing about the Big 15 season is down the stretch of that season, Reggie Bullock raised his scoring average to 16 points a game from 10. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Reggie Bullock got hot down the stretch.
I think we won 10 or 10 of 11 or something like that.
We won 16 out of 20.
Yeah.
So we were 16-4 down the stretch. And last season, in the last 20 games, we were 12-8 down the stretch. So, if we get to that last 20 games healthy, this team might be able to make some noise, down the stretch. But Queen, I got to run because I got a previous engagement.
All right. So no, we gonna. All right. Well, that's it. That's the end of it.
My thing is every time we get together, the conversation drives itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was looking like, dang, 9:45 here already.
Yeah.
So so I'm reintroducing. I have a guy that came back from the dark. He's gonna rock with us on another show on Vibes and stuff. A dude named Hoodie Kev.
Oh, nice.
Hoodie Kev is back. So we're gonna do a joint on Vibes and stuff, man. Hang out over there for a little bit. We agreed to that time. Queen, as usual, man, you are excellent. Chat, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Queen B got a lot of stuff coming y'all way. She's been working hard behind the scenes. Make sure y'all support her and check out the Bowling Chicks channel.
Oh,
the Jets channel. What's the name of it, Queen?
Tsunami Speaks.
Tsunami Speaks, right?
Jets and Knicks, but she's doing a lot of Jets now because of football season.
I'm gonna get the link to her channel from Queen at some point, and I'm gonna put it on my page. And I Am Jarrell has a football channel, a Giants channel. I'm gonna get the link to Die Hard Giants. I'm gonna put the link on the Blorange Tears community page. Hopefully tonight, but I already done started, so it might be Monday. So
I
thank
appreciate all y'all support. Listen, I'm doing the morning post game show because nothing but Knicks do the post game show after the Knicks play. It's too late for me. I'm getting older. I need my sleep, so I can't be staying up till like 12:30, 1 o'clock. at night. So the next morning, if you're interested in my takes on the Knicks, I'll be doing a short live show every morning after the Knicks play. Maybe around 8:00 in the morning, something around there.
Due diligence. Y'all make sure y'all jump on YouTube, check it out. The season will start before you know it.
Yeah.
And chat, listen. Y'all the sharpest chat in the business. I've been watching y'all comments the whole time. Y'all the sharpest chat in the business, man.
Yes.
I just want to send kudos to all of y'all. Shout out to the chat, all of y'all with the sharp comments, the dope stuff, man. We appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna hop out of here, Queen. I'll holler at you later, okay?
All right.
All right, peace.
Peace.